So what happens when you do everything right? You follow all the rules for a happy life, and you still end up right on the edge of despair. Well, today, we're diving into a really powerful true story about exactly that. It's about a man who hit his absolute darkest moment, only to find a light he never ever expected.
You've probably heard of Narnia, right? The story starts with this ordinary wardrobe, just a simple door, but it leads from a totally normal world into one filled with danger, yeah, but also this incredible, profound love and redemption. Well, for a man named Jack, this wasn't just some fantasy. His entire life was about to get turned upside down by his own version of that wardrobe door.
So let's meet Jack. This is a guy who truly believed he had the perfect formula for life. He did everything he was supposed to do. But instead of finding happiness, he just found this deep, growing emptiness inside. And this right here, this shows you the huge disconnect in Jack's life. On one side, you've got the formula he was following to a T. Study hard, get that good job, build a family. The classic path to success. But then you look at the other side, the reality, and it was the complete opposite of what he'd been promised. It wasn't fulfillment. It was this deep, unquenchable thirst. All that effort just led to emptiness. And no matter how much he gave, he just felt broken. This verse from the Psalms, it just perfectly captures what was going on in his soul. He felt like a deer lost in a desert, just desperately searching for water. It was this deep spiritual thirst for something he couldn't even name yet, this longing for a living God he didn't really know. And this desperation, it just kept building and building until it led Jack to his absolute rock bottom. It was this one Sunday morning. The weather was beautiful outside, but inside, his world was just a total storm. He actually got to a point where he started seriously wondering if life was even worth living anymore. He's just sitting there at his desk, staring at his own reflection on the dark computer screen, and this one cold, simple question just kept echoing in his mind. What's the point of living? He said he felt like a ship adrift at the end of the world, completely powerless with no direction. All his achievements, his relationships, everything suddenly felt so hollow. And right there, in that moment of absolute despair, something truly incredible happened. An indescribable light just pierced through all that darkness. It wasn't harsh or blinding. It was incredibly gentle and warm. He felt completely enveloped by it. And for the first time in what felt like forever, he wasn't alone anymore. That heavy, crushing weight on his soul just started to lift. And inside that warm, comforting light, a clear voice gave him a simple, direct command. It wasn't a suggestion. It was this gentle but firm instruction. Go to church. Now, he had no idea at the time, but this one action, it was about to change his entire life. So what happened next was honestly one of the most surreal experiences of Jack's life. He instinctively obeyed that voice, hopped on his motorcycle, and just started heading towards the only church he could even remember. But the journey itself, that's where things got really, really strange. He's waiting at a red light, and all of a sudden, tears just start silently streaming down his face, completely blurring his visor. Now, you have to understand, this was unheard of for Jack. He grew up in a military family where the rule was simple. Men don't show weakness. Crying just wasn't in his vocabulary. And yet here he was, with tears just erupting like a flash flood that he had zero control over. He was completely stunned, just wondering, what in the world is happening to me? So he gets to the church, keeps his head down, tries to hide his face as he finds a seat way in the back. And he could not stop crying through the entire service. But underneath all those tears was this feeling he had never, ever experienced before. This immense sense of relief and safety. The weight he'd been carrying for years was just being lifted piece by piece. In this room, surrounded by strangers, he felt like he had finally, truly come home. This whole incredible experience led Jack to a really profound realization, a totally new understanding that just completely rewired how he saw himself and the world. And it's really the core message of his entire journey. What this experience showed Jack was the system he'd been living under his whole life, what you could call the world's system. It's this toxic belief that our value is conditional, that we have to earn love and happiness through our performance. Getting into the right school, landing the perfect job, having the perfect family, this idea that our effort plus our achievement is what equals being loved. But the truth that Jack discovered just cut right through all of that noise. And the message was so simple. Your value is inherent. It is not something you earn through your performance. Love isn't some prize you get for being perfect. It's a gift. And this new understanding, it just changed everything for him. See, God's love wasn't waiting for him at the finish line after he'd fixed all his problems. No, it met him right where he was, at his desk, thinking about the end, on his motorcycle, completely broken and crying. His love isn't earned. It's just freely given. The only thing you have to do is be willing to receive it. Ultimately, Jack's story shows us that love isn't a transaction. It's a rescue. It's a light that finds us in our darkest moments and tells us we're home. And it leaves all of us with one powerful question to think about. Are you ready to be embraced by that light?